Conceptually, however, I think it's awful.
And I just really, really like it. But why they didn't actually use AI to...
I can't fly to Tahiti because somebody's paying ChatGPT instead of me to do the job.
I thought, wow, this is ABC Dynamo 2.0.
Formally, I think it's really beautiful.
So,
Perfect.
are you gonna share some context, or are you gonna like share
Oh
your
yeah.
thoughts?
No,
Okay.
I'm bursting at the seams. I'm ready.
Okay. You do the honor of opening up the intro.
Oh man, I am not prepared for an intro this time. Welcome. I'm just gonna have to call out the cuff, yeah? Welcome back. Another episode of a Design Critique podcast. I'm Caleb and joined by Yolanda. The amazing look,
Yes.
I already hit my mic stand like you said I should.
Yeah.
It's just right in the way. This time we're going to talk about OpenAI and the new, it's sort of like a brand refresh that they're
Yes.
doing,
I
but
was
we'll
gonna
call it a
say
rebrand.
no. I mean,
Yeah.
they said refresh, so we're gonna like
They
stick
said
to
refresh
that.
too?
Yeah.
Okay.
They
We're
like when you Google it, it says refresh. So
perfect. Okay.
I'm just gonna do what they already like put out. So
Yeah.
refresh. And I
Good.
actually really like that idea instead of like rebranding, because like rebrand kind of sounds like, I don't know, it's like refresh sounds more something that an AI would say, if that makes sense. Like it would,
Sure.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I think to me, it's degrees of change, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
a rebrand is like a big, huge fell swoop and a big change away from some sort of existing visual system. And a refresh seems like just like honing it in or refining it a little bit.
Yeah.
So the OpenAI brand refresh, which feels like their second one already.
Is
I
it?
feel like they did one a couple, like almost a year ago. It feels
Okay.
like they just did it half-heartedly. I'm gonna open the floor to your thoughts. Do you want to brand the thoughts, or do we need some context first?
I think we don't need context because like everyone, not everyone, I guess, but like
We can't assume everyone
I
knows,
can't,
right?
yeah, I
We're all
can't assume.
designing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but everyone that I know, okay,
sure.
everyone that I know
Yeah,
use
yeah.
ChatGPT, so
Mm-hmm.
they're really familiar with OpenAI, regardless if they know that. I didn't know that ChatGPT was OpenAI. Like I thought
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT is just itself, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I thought. You know what I thought? I thought, wow, this is ABC Dynamo 2.0. I really like I really like their new fonts, even though it's just
Mm-hmm.
like I think it's not a rebrand. That's why like I really like the way they say it's a refresh, because it's not really different. It's not really changing much. It's just a refresh to a look that has been done before. And I just really, really like it. But whenever I saw, like, I watched the video, which we're gonna pull up later, of the refresh, and I just feel like it looks like ABC Dynamo, or like it would be something that they would do. And I really like the new refresh logo that they have. And I just like how they put out like the circles, and then like they make into like that like weird like fan shaped. I call it fan because it looks like a fan, but it's it's just fun to look at it, and it's fun to see how they approach it. And I didn't realize that they make a change, because I've been using ChatGPT for the past week or so, like intensely. So the fact that like I didn't realize that they're changing anything is kind of like interesting to me, because it's not a rebrand, it's a refresh. So
Mm-hmm.
because like I think when you say a rebrand, it's more about changing the logos, changing the type, changing the colors, or maybe just like making something new, but they're not making anything new. It's more just like making it more intricate and making it more, I guess, just like more fresh, you know.
Sure.
So, but I can't with the fact that it looks like something that ABC Dynamo would do. Maybe they did it. I like maybe I don't know because
You don't know.
I I don't
I
know.
should
I
have
actually
I should have started with some context then.
yeah, but no, I think like it's something that like because I just saw that you did like oh like I think
A quick
you
reel. I did a
yeah
quick little
you did
2 minute
a quick
video.
reel and I was just like whoa that's how I found out that they did a new rebrand and I was like let me look it up on YouTube and it was just like this quick I think 3 minutes of just like them like making motion graphics and it's like really
Yeah.
cool
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that it looks simple is very interesting to me because when you go to like again, I'm only familiar with ChatGPT from OpenAI, and when you access ChatGPT, it's very simple. It's just like dark gray, and there's just like literally like nothing, and it's like open for like interpretation kind of in my opinion because like when you type in a lot of things they will like like give you some stuff that they will share with you or like send you some images so I think the refresh is really cool but again it's kind of too simple that you can't really like notice the difference because I didn't notice that there's any difference so that's my thoughts I guess but because like I think I want to approach it as if like I don't know anything about it as someone that wants to just like as someone that uses ChatGPT and didn't realize that it's making any change instead of just like oh I'm gonna like look it up and like see if there's
Mm-hmm.
like the designers and stuff like that because I tried to look it up couldn't find it for some reason
Hmm.
I don't know if it was because I didn't use the correct keywords or I wasn't looking in the right place. Like the only thing that I can find is just like an article about it and just like a lot of like images of the it's basically just like screenshots of the YouTube videos
Yeah.
that they uploaded. So
Sure.
that's my thoughts. So
Perfect.
are you gonna share some context or are you gonna like share
Oh
your
yeah.
thoughts?
No,
Okay.
I'm bursting at the seams. I'm ready.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do a little bit of opinion first and then context and then a deep dive.
Yeah.
Overall, like formally, I think it's really beautiful. Like the motion, the typography, the image making, all of it is like formally really beautiful and there's nothing to fault from that perspective, I would say. And I think that's backed by how the team went about making it, which talk about that context in a minute. Conceptually, however, I think it's awful because you have this whole company who has stolen every piece of data on the internet, like every pixel image out there. They've stolen blog articles and content and millions of data points to train their AI tools. They've committed like this like mass crime of stealing and training images and text that other people have been punished for on an individual level, which is fascinating. And then they've used that like and that's sort of what they're propagating. And then they didn't use their own tool to make the identity, which to me feels like the breakdown. Like I think it would have been so fascinating for them to prompt their own tool, for them to like talk about the typeface that they want it to design, for them to talk about the images they want it to make, for them to talk about the animations they want it to make, and then like deal with their sort of own consequences visually. And I also think it would have been like fascinating because people like, oh, look at how fast it's progressing. I think that would have been like a fascinating grow like natural growth in their visual journey too. Like the first brand that they launched being really awful and like, people having 17 fingers or whatever. Like it can't figure out feet for some reason, like the image generation part of it. So it would have been fascinating to like have all those weird mistakes in the visual identity, and then like as the product gets better, so the brand identity gets better too. And I think that there's way more conceptual interest there, and it feels like so backhanded from them as like what they're doing to say, oh well, we can generate any image that you ever want, and we can generate any kind of text that you ever want if you prompt us, but we're going to pay these other really professional designers and writers to do our own stuff. So like our product can make your stuff, but it's not going to make it as good as our stuff, and it's not actually going to make it as good as it could make it. And that to me feels really, really nasty. Like a sick to the stomach kind of nasty. That's opinion. Overview. OpenAI has an internal design team of like 10 or 12 people. I'm not sure. You can like search it and you can find their internal design team pretty easily. They're a big enough company to warrant an internal design team. And I think that they very obviously were the ones like putting together a creative brief to do this brand refresh. But then they used external agencies to put together the parts of it. So, yes, type design was from Dynamo typefaces. I think it was just a custom version of an existing font. That's probably why it felt so familiar to you, who uses Dynamo
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, I would imagine the sort of collage aspect of it that they sort of had at the end of those videos is what felt like Dynamo, but they're like not near as brutalist as
Mm-hmm.
Dynamo's stuff is, right? Like they're still a corporate entity selling to mass marketers. They also use an outside animation agency, a motion design. I think there was studio. I don't know how to say it. Slash department. So all the motion stuff is an outside agency, and then all the footage and like photos and stuff was like I think it was 100% film and photography. So
Oh,
they're like all the
interesting.
basically all the best pieces of the visual identity came from external agencies, and I think which makes me feel like the brief was written internally, and then they went and selected vendors who could execute to a caliber that they wanted to, and like obviously turned out work that you really love. I think is phenomenal, but just feels so conceptually backwards for me. So backwards.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
mean, like, sorry to cut you,
yeah,
but
go for it.
yeah, because like I tried to like make a design last night from ChatGPT. I was like, make me a design for this because I was just wondering if it could make a design. The design
Mm-hmm.
was horrendous. It was so bad. It was just like
Yeah.
it was just so blurry. Everything was not like I was like, oh, I want a minimalist style for designers, just like simple typography, and it was just like bad. And I was like, oh, I see now why like people are so much better than ChatGPT or like any kind of AI because we can do better like for sure. And I think that's why I think that probably why that they ended up doing external designers and just like external contractors, or not contractors, just people, I guess, because
Mm-hmm.
they know that their own product is not that. I don't know, I don't want to say it, I don't want to say it, but
What don't you? It's not like ChatGPT is gonna come for you and say, "Oh well, she said it, so
um
send the robots to get her." Not yet, at least.
not yet, maybe in 10 years. But I think I don't know. Like I think the idea that they use instead of like AI is kind of interesting the way you put it, because I didn't realize that it's something that to be considered about. So I think they just realized that maybe their product is not that great anyway, even though I used it. I mean, I use it so that I know it can make or like generate ideas. They
Hmm.
definitely can generate ideas.
Oh yeah. I
Definitely,
mean,
it
like
helps.
the ChatGPT stuff is phenomenal. Like, and it gets better and better the more you figure out how to prompt it and
Mm-hmm.
ask it questions. The more you figure out how to input data into it, because it can like read data sets and it can pick up, it applies its own like like your own statistical.
Yeah.
Oh, when you use your own data in it, it like picks up tonalities and all that kind of stuff. Like it is stupidly good, like really phenomenal. Um,
Yeah.
way better than it
I
should be.
I I use it almost every day because it helps a lot. Even though I hate to admit that because I should be able to like because my point is that we're better than AI, but
Yeah,
it helps. It's a helpful technology that found or created. I like Grok better. I'm sorry, ChatGPT. Like, have
yeah.
you
I
tried
use
Grok?
Claude. No, I
What is
like
that?
Claude.
Okay,
I don't know
cause
whose it is. It just turns out better stuff that's
yeah,
closer to the sort of language that I mean, once you've if you've prompted ChatGPT enough, depending on like what kind of things you're prompting, you can identify it so easily and like link
yeah,
like other articles, posts, whatever. It's like because it uses the same and similar language everywhere, it's like, oh well this is a ChatGPT article. Like at least edit it a little bit, you know.
yeah. I have an idea for this podcast. What if
Tell
we
me.
go? What if we go to ChatGPT and make itself rebrand itself?
And make itself rebrand itself as a
Yeah.
prompt.
Yes.
I love it.
That
You
would
do it.
be. No, I'm on my phone.
Where's what else? Sora? Which one's Sora? Is it the image maker?
I
Yeah.
think so.
So instead of using, yeah, you have to use Sora to make the images. You'd have to use ChatGPT
For
to write
ideas.
content, the
Yeah.
positioning ideas, and yeah, I wonder if Sora can design a font.
Yeah, because like I'm wondering, like
There's no
we,
reason it shouldn't be able to.
yeah, because if like it should be able to, and I'm just wondering why they didn't actually use AI to.
That's what I'm telling you, Yolanda. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah. Let's do it.
I mean, the concept of like how AI puts these things together isn't super unique either. Like I built a resource, the spacing calculator, right? And it's just an average of the number of pixels or points between letters in a font.
Hmm.
And I just averaged, like manually averaged 14 different fonts together to get, a kick out, and it my little calculator computes all those things. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what like all of these do, right? They just like because they have such a massive scale of inputs that their average seems unique because and seems smart because it's just this like crazy statistical math advantage thing of writing like which words come after which other words, what pixel colors are next to those pixel colors, and how does one pixel color change from one pixel to the next.
Yeah,
And it's just a like a muddy average. What it
but yeah, I didn't realize that ABC actually designed it.
Yeah, they did it. Everybody's using them for everything, right?
Hmm.
Spotify used them recently. Who else was it? No, somebody else used. Let's see their recent case studies. We'll look them up. But I mean, they're big agencies, right? Like all
Yeah.
of them that like Studio 100% film and photography. Like all these guys are big, huge agencies, and it makes sense. Like I don't know how many billions of dollars. I think was it today or yesterday? Elon Musk offered him almost $100 billion to buy OpenAI.
God.
That's like that's a lot of money, an
Yeah.
absurd amount of money. Even though there's a lot more behind that than just him trying to buy it. Client work. Let's see who else Dynamo's done recently. Yeah, Spotify's the big one. Patreon, ON Running,
Nice.
Alicia Keys.
I need to see this. That is
Discord, the Discord one was good. I remember when Discord released theirs, it was good. Didn't they do, who did Twitter? I don't remember who did Twitter
Twitter or
or
X.
X. Well, it was Twitter
I
before
s- it is
Elon
Twitter.
ran into the dirt.
Yeah.
They have tons though. I mean, they have a ton of different devices and all sorts of different scales too, which is really lovely.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyways,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
and I
like
also
looking
think
at the sorry. You go, you
the
go.
the other thing I'm trying to stay on track for a podcast. The other thing that I have heard other designers say is like, oh, how dare these companies, how dare these agencies work with OpenAI, who's like actively putting designers and marketers out of a job, which is true. Like, there's a lot of reduction in marketing use because somebody can just go to Sora and say, generate me this photo or whatever else, this, that, and the other. And I think about like, if you were like, I think if I were a design agency and I got an email one day that was like from OpenAI, it was like, hey, we'd like you to design a brand identity for us. Like, one, how crazy it would be that you could have some design impact of that scale. And two, the freaking billables would be huge, right?
Mm.
So I think there's like still the other, and I don't know if that's like a weird commerce tension of like this thing is putting some people out of work while lining the pockets of some other people. And it's like,
Yeah.
how do you say no? How do you say no to that? I think it would be a tough position, especially since, again, thinking about like you have the opportunity to sort of underpin the way that these things get presented to the world. The other thing that I think is really interesting is, again, I think if you can like look online and find their like design team, and they have like this mission statement that on
I
its
want to
own
see
is like
this.
really, like, it's really nice from a mission statement point. And it was like, I don't know, bettering the existence or something like through technology. I don't know. But some like really like actually nice pie in the sky idea, it's just gonna come at like the expense of like entire industries, right? Like, well, first we got to put millions of people out of work, and then our tools will help you.
Yeah.
Even though if AI can write copy and draft email campaigns and do all this other stuff, then the only thing left for people to do is going to be digging ditches, which is just the worst.
Yeah.
It's weird. Who knows?
Okay, I found the team's mission of the
Yes,
OpenAI
read it.
design team. So the mission is to ensure that artificial intelligence benefits all of you, right? Product design helps deploy our advanced AI systems into the world by building great products. And communications design tell our story to the world through our website and everything else visual. They have a whole like page of just their values and then the team members. What else? And there's actually 9 members, so that's not a big
Yeah,
team.
but and I think the approach that they took makes sense. Like the brief they kind of write for this kind of thing makes sense, as does the visual output, which is like when you try to put your thumb on like what it is that they do, it's really everything, right? Like Chat GPT and these AI systems is supposed to be able to help you with anything, right? Like you could write a grocery list, or you can write a blog article or an email campaign. Like you can do these really capitalistic things, which I think they're framing. But you can also like ask it to write you a workout plan, or like I said, a 30-day sugar cleanse diet, you know. And so I think in those respects, it makes it there's some benefiting and fitting the brief of like you can't pick a single icon, or you can't use one sort of logical thread of images because it can be anything. So I think that's probably why they take this sort of like really open-ended visual identity approach, right? It's like black and white. It's a really minimal. There's not a lot of suggestion of what it could or couldn't be. Although it does bug me that all the images are like of the world, it's like the ocean and
Yeah,
the
the
mountains and
ocean.
the
Yeah.
clouds. And you're like, okay, but ChatGPT doesn't do any of that. Like, I can't fly to Tahiti because somebody's paying ChatGPT instead of me to do the job.
Yeah.
Like, but it's weird.
Okay.
It's so
Yeah.
weird. Conceptually, very strange for me.
Yeah. Did you realize or like did you notice that on the video of the brand refresh they have four like important like keywords? It's like the same like Jaguar.
They did? Where? What does it say?
Yeah. It says simplicity, space,
Oh,
imperfection, and vivid.
when does it say that?
In the
Here,
beginning.
let's see if I can share it here too. Can I share my screen? Present. Ha.